Let's get into it. We'll do it live. That's what she just brought up.
Yeah.
We'll do it live. Sold Out for Sale podcast. Coach Colin here. I got the wife with me.
Hello.
And Happy New Year. We're doing these episodes. They're episodes on reflection. It's Joe Rogan. It's Jason Everman, I believe his name is. And in this episode, they are just reflecting on pursuit of money, working jobs that you don't like, reaching your full potential, people who do it, people who don't do it. I just figured it would be a great clip to play in hopes to inspire people to move forward in a positive way in the new year. That's basically what I have in mind.
That's nice.
And then we have a list. She has a list of what she wants to get done in 2024. I have a list of what I want to get done in 2024. I'm not organized. Mine's not written down. Hers is. And I hope that you guys make one as well. Not even a resolution list. Not one of those resolutions, but just things that you want to get done in 2024. I'll tell you one of mine right away, to be able to change a tire, because I can't do that. And it's getting to me. I don't like it. Anyways, guys, don't forget about IamCoachColin.com. We got Sold Not for Sale. We got Public Enemy #1. And the discount code is I am Coach Colin, all capital letters, all one word, 1 L in the name Colin. Let's get this clip started.
Of understanding. Yeah, I mean, and that's ultimately, we're trying, like the word harmonious, I've used it too many times probably, but that's really what it is. Like it's not going to be great all the time, but you want it to be as harmonious as possible. And you want to enjoy as much of it as possible.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and sometimes like with you and what you did, it's like embracing things that are really fucking difficult. And through that, you get an understanding of yourself that's really not available to someone who doesn't go through struggle.
That's the intent for sure. Like with no, again, it's that punctuated equilibrium. If there's not a traumatic, a stressor, say, you're not going to grow.
Yeah.
You're just going to flatline. And like, maybe there's no negativity there, but there's also no positivity.
Right. You're just dull. Yeah. And I think that's the problem with a lot of people today and why they're medicated. Is that they're not experiencing life in a way that seems to resonate with them in a positive manner. It doesn't seem right. It seems shitty and depressing. I had this conversation with a buddy of mine the other day where he was talking about stages of his life where he was very depressed. And we came to this conclusion, but during that time, your life sucked. And now your life is pretty cool. And of course you're happier. And that seems so simplistic to some people. But a lot of there's without a doubt, there's clinical depression. There's people that have something wrong. There's an imbalance, whether it's a physical imbalance or a life imbalance or a trauma that they can't get over. But my friends that I know that have had those dark moments in their life, when their life turned around, now they're in a great relationship, now they have good friends, now they live in a good community, those people are fucking happier. They're doing a thing that they want to do with their life. Those people are happier. And that's a thing that we have this sort of binary view of what happiness is. And for some people, it's like, oh, I need to get on an SSRI, I need to get on this or that, or I need to do something. I need to, to some sort of chemical intervention to straighten out my head. And that's not always the case. Like sometimes it's just, you got to get through that and come out on the other side and figure out what is the process of becoming a more fulfilled person. What's the process of living a harmonious life? Like, how do I do that? Like, what is the thing? And I think we get a lot of the answers to that from talking to people and from listening to people talk about it, and then from trying things and learning and growing. And that's something it's not like a public narrative. It's not something that's being discussed. It's not something that's drilled into kids' heads. Like you're gonna go through some shit, but you got to trust in this process, and you have to have guidelines in your mind of what you want to do. You have to have ethics and morals. You have to have compassion for other people. Because if you think it's all about you, you're never going to be happy. You're never, ever going to be happy. The narcissists and the people that are like deeply connected to their own wants and needs, they always get out of that feeling hollow and empty. And and those are the people that are doing blow all the time and just trying to find some sort of external method of elevating their
a diversion.
Something.
Okay, if I do this, I'm not going to think about the important stuff. Or,
Exactly.
Yeah, like I've always been intrigued by the Greek or ancient Greek notion of like human flourishing. Like the Greeks called it eudaimonia, and it was this being, endeavoring to be the best that you can be, whatever that is. And it's not talking about vocation or external stuff, but you as a person, like figuring out, everything we've been talking about, like figuring out what brings you joy, applying yourself. And it's hard, It's like, if it were easy, and I've had this discussion with other friends where, about human flourishing and stuff, and like, and this is going to sound a little bit negative, but I think there's a lot of people who can't be bothered, who are fully capable of flourishing if they applied themselves.
Right.
And for whatever reason, just, it's easier to do this.
I think they also don't have the tools. Like, they never, like, you got to think about, like, your life at a young age. You sort of sought out those journeys when you can. And some people, they don't develop those tools. They fall into a system that's very unserving for them, whether it's a system of, getting an education, then you have student loan debt, and then so you have to get a job, and then you get a job that pays well because you have to pay off that debt, and then you buy a house, so now you have a mortgage, and you have a family, so now you have responsibilities, and you have all these things. But most of your day is spent doing something you absolutely don't want to do, but is also not rewarding. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of things you don't want to do, but when you do them, you're like, God damn, I'm glad I did that.
Yeah.
Very few people who are doing a 9-to-5 or longer job that they don't want to do have that feeling. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of, it's like that Thoreau quote, most men live lives of quiet desperation.
Yeah.
And that is so fucking true. Mm-hmm. And unless you find something that is satisfying and something that elevates you, something that with these experiences you gain insight as to why you think and what what is good about these experiences with other human beings. And if you don't, you just become this fever-minded capitalist where you just are constantly chasing numbers because it's rewarded by society. That external validation that you get from driving a Mercedes, that thing that you get from having a nice house where people drive by and go, look at that guy's house.
Yeah,
like
someone you don't even know.
Yeah.
Like that's important to you, what that person thinks. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what a lot of people like, right? Yeah. They like to wear jewelry and look flashy, so when they show up, everybody goes, wow, look at him, look at her, look at them. Wow, they got the thing. They got those sneakers that I can't buy. They got that watch that I can't wear. Look at those glasses. Those are expensive. Like, we live in this bizarre society where that is rewarded or at least highlighted so often in so many people's lives. It's like that's what you're seeing. It's like how they sell things in billboards and on commercials. And, we don't realize that this is not going to bring you the joy that you're looking for.
Or you get that short-term fix, but it evaporates instantly, and it's like
you're constantly chasing the dragon. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's like I was reading about this Russian oligarch that they confiscated his yachts. And he's got this one yacht that's fucking insane. They confiscated another. He's got this second yacht that's just as preposterous, maybe even more so, that operates on massive batteries, so it can literally drive as silent as a Tesla. And it's fucking hundreds of feet long, and like that's that world that you get into, like of constantly keeping up with the Joneses and all the other people. It's like it never ends. It never ends. You get to the highest levels of it all, and it never ends.
It's a series of false summits. It's like I've arrived. Oh, wait a minute. No, I haven't. Yeah,
that's a great way to put it. A series of false summits. It's all illusions. It's all mirage. Yeah, and then one day he's dead. And that's it. And then all the people around him are like, that guy was a fucking asshole. And that's a fucking disaster. To die a multi-billionaire who was a fucking asshole who everybody hated is so strange.
It's so much wasted potential.
Yeah, but there's so many people that are just chasing it. I saw this image of Rupert Murdoch with his wife, and he was on the beach, and he literally looks like an alien. He's just like these bones and tissue and fat, and he's with this woman, and they were supposed to get married, and it didn't work out. And one of the things he was saying, he's in his 90s. It was like, I don't know which wife he's on, right? But he was saying that I'm looking forward to spending the second half of my life with her. Like, hey, bro, what do you know that I don't know? Like, if you got about a month left, I mean, if everything goes great, you might have 8 years. If everything goes great, but no one thinks about that while you're in the middle of it. All you're thinking about is, keeping that fucking game going, that thing that's gotten you all those accolades, that thing that's gotten you all that respect. And it's just numbers. Just
the dopamine hits. Like,
it's like checking your social media forever to the end of time. Like checking the likes on your fucking Instagram post to the end of time. It's like it's empty. And that's the path that so many people are on. I just don't understand it. I'll never understand it, but I get it. I get how you could get sucked into that path.
Yeah, I totally understand the mechanism. Yeah.
The mechanism, yeah. And it's
the mechanism. The mechanism that throws people into that type of thing. And again, I'm just playing this because, 2024 is coming. And you should be thinking about what you're doing and if you really want to be doing it. I've said this before on the channel. I don't care if you're 60. I don't care if you're 70. You can switch things up. You really can. So many people have this kind of, I want to say, defeatist mentality that there's nothing they can do about the situation they're in. And, a lot of people always have the attitude, people who have this mindset have the attitude of, oh, you don't get it. Nah, you don't get my thing. My thing's different. My thing's worse than all the other things. Trust me. But it's not, which is always hard to hear. It's always hard to hear that it's your full responsibility and it's something that you could push through and change. It's not a fun thing to hear.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. I would have been pissed if someone said that to me when I was like working in a factory. I would have until I started to change things around. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, okay. Like I can actually just learn things and do better and have different aspirations. And, you just keep on building on that. But what do you think about this whole clip?
I liked it, but at the back of my mind, I was just thinking like, Joe Rogan is worth so much money.
Yeah, he's probably worth almost $500 million.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit different for someone to sit there and say they don't chase money when you're worth that much.
Yeah, of course. But that's the thing. That's the weird thing that always comes up, because I see that too, right? And you know one of my friends that came into a lot of money, but while he was doing that, and as much as it seems like he's chasing money, he wasn't chasing money at all.
Yeah.
And you could look at, the situation we're in, and I wasn't exactly chasing money. I was just trying to figure out what I could do that would make me happy.
Yeah.
And you always push that. You
Yeah.
always be like, do the thing that makes you happy,
That's true.
And it's like most comedians that you see who are super successful, they're just kind of doing the thing that always made them happy.
Yeah.
So it's a balancing of these things, because he started on it, but he was really into health, or I think he helped start it or something like that. It's like the Alpha Brain stuff I take, like he helped form that company. And then there's the whole podcast, but again, you can kind of tell from where it started that he wasn't exactly, like I just showed you that clip of him and Red Band fighting. Yeah. They're sitting in that room together arguing like kids, like brothers, like a married couple. And, that doesn't look like somebody who's pursuing money. Like none of them seem like they're pursuing money in that room. But all of them came out rich. Yeah. It's weird. That's why so many successful people, I think it was Jim Carrey. It was either Jim Carrey or Robin Williams. And they're like, I wish I could give you all the money that you're looking for so you can see that that's not the thing. Because when you get to be worth all that money, all of a sudden you go, oh, okay, I'm still sad. Or I'm still overweight. Or I'm still a person. Yeah. Like it doesn't get wiped away because I have money. Like a lot of my friends who came into massive amounts of money, just unhappy. Still unhappy. That's true. Because they're just like, oh, okay, now I have this. So now I have more time to think about the things that were terrible in the first place. Yeah. Like now I don't have to get up and do anything. So I just have more time to think about my bad situation and other aspects of my life. So it's an interesting thing, because everybody feels that way. When you see a rich person, it's like, yeah, easy for you to say. But it's like, I don't know, you kind of have to take that advice of maybe it's not the thing. You do have to find things that make you happy.
Yeah. What do you think are the things that make Joe happy?
Definitely stand-up comedy. Definitely that, because you can tell by the way he talks about it. He's one of those people that's very concentrated on the craft of it. Aside from that, definitely doing hard things. I would say, he bow hunts. Like all the things he does are very hard. Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu. Like I've done Muay Thai. It's very, very difficult. It's one of the most difficult martial art forms, Probably his children make him very happy. Yeah. Just the things, that's the things that he does. So you see him doing stand-up, you see him podcasting, and you see that he's a father of 3 girls. So those are the things that make him happy, I would assume. And, you know, I'm sure there's things in between. And also his wife. I got to mention his wife, of course. But yeah, those are the things that I think probably make him happy.
Yeah.
You know? It's like right now, if all of a sudden I had $200 million and somebody was like, all you cared about was money, you'd probably be like, no.
That's true.
You don't understand.
Yeah.
Like he'd be doing this either way.
Yeah.
And then you'd be like, he was doing this either way. Like I remember when he was doing it either way before there was all this money.
Yeah. Right.
So it always looks that way when we hear rich people say that.
That's true.
Because it's annoying. You know, somebody has $500 million and you're like, yo, be quiet. Let me have my quiet life of desperation over here. You don't know what it's like. But you know, he probably does. He used to do the job that my mom used to do. He used to deliver newspapers. Yeah, because comedians, they're always just doing weird jobs.
Yeah.
So yeah, he used to deliver newspapers. Probably at the same time my mom was delivering newspapers.
It's crazy to think about.
Yeah, but my mom had it way harder than him.
Yeah.
My mom was loading in 3 kids into an Astro van.
Yeah.
And then tons of newspapers on top of that. And then we would like catch naps on the newspapers. Yeah, it was wild. It was a wild time. And then she'd give us big 2-liter pops.
Oh my God.
To wake us up for school. She'd be like, who wants pop?
Oh.
We'd be like, I want pop. And we'd drink that, and then we'd be ready for school.
That's wild.
That's how you got by in the early 90s. You got to do what you got to do. But yeah, it was around the same time. Actually, no, maybe he was already famous by then. He was already doing stand-up by then. I think he was doing it like 80s. But she was doing it then by herself, not with us. So yeah, it always feels that way when we see rich people talk about that stuff.
Yeah.
But I've learned just from being around my friends who came into a lot of money, multiple, like at least 5 that have come into astounding amounts of money. They're the same. That's it. They get to travel more. They don't have to think about traveling. They don't have to think about bills. But there's so like when I say that, like they don't have to think about bills. How much more to life is there that could make you upset? You know?
Yeah.
There's so much more. It just feels like when you got bills, it's like that's everything.
Yeah. It's just like one thing that's off your mind, but there's always going to be another thing.
Yeah. Yeah. Like love.
Yeah.
You know? I'd rather have what we have and have bills to worry about than to never have to worry about bills and not have this.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, some people will be in a very rich position and look at somebody that just has like a happy marriage and kids and be like, oh, when do I get that part?
Yeah.
You know, and then the guy with the kids and he's looking at the rich guy and like, when do I get that part?
Yeah.
You know, and both feel like it's so far off. It's interesting how life goes. That's why it's healthy to have like a little balance, you know?
Yeah.
That's why I plan to have both.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I got you now.
You got me forever.
You can't escape.
No.
Now it's time for the money. People are always like, why is she off camera? Because she's in shackles.
Yeah, exactly. I'm stuck here now, guys. And I'm also an AI, apparently.
Oh, someone said you're an AI?
Yeah.
Well, fine. That'd be cool.
Yeah, I'd be like the best AI in the world.
You're an AI and my handler.
Oh.
So like I try to do
an
things.
FBI.
And you're controlling the computer and you're like doing things and I can't do what I want to do. I can't travel because you're like making computers go down and oh, that'd be interesting. That's a cool movie. But aside from that, what else are you thinking about there? You write anything down?
No, not really. I was just listening to this one. But
okay,
he was talking about that thing we were looking at, eudaimonia.
Eudaimonia, the ancient Greek.
Yeah, it was
of people or something.
Aristotle used it as a concept, and basically he was describing the highest good humans could strive for. Oh. So he was saying, like, no matter what you do, you always want to strive to be the best version of that.
Okay.
So he was saying, like, it doesn't matter, like, if you're a carpenter or a king, you always want to be the best version of what you're doing right now.
True.
And that's like a path towards happiness, because you feel fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's saying they were elaborating, saying it's not the modern sense of happiness, but it's just that fulfillment, and that you're flourishing at what you do.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. That is true. I've noticed that. And when I was working odd jobs, because I've worked like 40 different jobs, I would always get annoyed by those people. Like if I was working in a grocery store and there's someone who wanted to be the best at that, I'd be like, oh, whatever. But yeah, they probably felt really good.
Yeah.
Striving.
Yeah. Like it feels good to do a good job at things.
Yeah. And I was not caring about that at all and feeling terrible, and it made it worse. It made it harder.
Exactly.
Yeah. True.
Like even if you're in a bad situation, you might as well
make the best
of it and show your own character regardless of the situation.
Yes. Yeah. True. Yeah, that's very true. That's something I never did when I was working jobs. Never. Not one. Maybe the last one when I was working at that baby toy factory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You did pretty good there.
That was it. But that was because that was paired with purpose. Because I wanted to be in film, and I was working with a filmmaker.
Yeah.
Who was also just working that job just to make money so he could make films. And that changed everything. I was watching movies. I had met a girl that I was in love with. And I was talking about film when I was at work. It felt like I could actually move towards this career. Every day I was at that job that I would have otherwise hated.
Yeah.
So it is true. You have to find, that goes to like something they said, like figuring out what brings you joy. That was a couple of things, like you, and the fact that I was finally fumbling through a purpose. Like,
yeah.
You know?
It was like a hint of a purpose.
Yeah. And then slowly I started saving up money, and then he started selling me his equipment because he wanted to buy new equipment. So it was like we were helping each other, and then every time I'd buy something, he'd teach me how to use it. So it was like, it really felt like purpose.
Yeah.
And that made me work a lot harder. Plus, I was working with him, and he was a filmmaker, so it was like fun.
Yes.
It was fun. Like on top of that, it was all fun. He was great.
And those people in general were decent.
Yeah.
They were good people.
Yeah, except for the one. What was his name? Josh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, he was terrible.
He was annoying.
He was a terrible person. He's just legit a terrible person. He's like talking about like wanting to be the best. He had no desire for that.
Oh my gosh.
He's wanted to make everything terrible.
That's so funny.
He's wanted to make everybody, like if you were friends and he couldn't get into the friendship. Oh, I don't even want to get into it. You suck. You suck if you're out there. If you ever see this, you're terrible, buddy. So what else? I guess I'll go through my thing, and let's go through our lists.
Yeah.
You have a list written?
Yeah.
So organized. See, that's why I love her.
Well, you told me to.
I know.
And then you didn't do it.
Exactly. Yeah. And you're like working on it, and I'm like, hey, where are you? What are you doing? But struggling through the year helps. You know, they were talking about how he did these incredibly hard things, and there's a benefit to that, having to do that. And I think that's true. And I think I could even look at the last year and think there was a struggle there for myself. In the year before that, there was struggle as well. But I think where it becomes a problem for the everyday person, especially for me, as years were going by, it was so many years of struggle.
Yeah.
When it's so many, like, you know, you struggle for a year because you have this purpose of what brings you, like you have this purpose in mind, and you're pursuing what brings joy. Struggling through that is good. You feel like you're traversing through something that's working, that's worth it. But when you're struggling for no reason, oh my God. And you don't know what's at the end.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even know what you're walking towards. It's like, oh my God, this is terrible.
Well, it's the hard part is that it always feels like there's no reason until the reason appears.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me, it felt like that. From the
Yeah.
time I was like 15 until 28 years old.
When
I
you're
was
in it,
like,
it's the worst thing in the world.
Oh my God. I was like, there's no purpose to all this. This is terrible.
Yeah.
This is terrible. This is insanely terrible. It was nuts.
But
It
your
was
life
so
can
bad.
change so quickly.
Yeah, seriously, it can. And honestly, like a lot of people are like, oh, why are all the Joe Rogan clips? This podcast kept me going.
Yeah.
This podcast kept me going. It didn't exist when I was very young, and I listened to Howard Stern, and I'd listened to Inside the Actor Studio, and I loved these interviewers, and I loved hearing about people's lives, because I started hearing that all these people who were, these monumental celebrities, they also had hard lives. So I liked that. I was like, wow, okay, hard life could lead to something. But then Joe Rogan came, and that got me through so much, like an incredible amount of stuff, and opened my mind to stuff, and made me think I wasn't all weird for like doing psychedelics and stuff. Made me think, okay, like somebody else doesn't. I don't know. It just it got me through so many hours, because as soon as I figured out that I could just play it on my phone, because that wasn't a thing before. When I was 15, 16, that wasn't a thing. You couldn't just play things on your phone. I had to have an MP3 player. And you had to go to your computer, and you had to transfer it and get it on there, and it could only take so much stuff.
Those crazy days.
Oh man, it was rough. It was really. And before that, you were burning CDs and you're putting inside your Walkman.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it was so rough. But when I could finally just be walking around a factory and just be listening to his podcast, I was like, okay, I can actually get through this stuff. Like day to day, I was like, okay, that and a little bit of, that's what I used to do every single day, all the time. But like that used to get me through. I used to love listening to the podcast so much, So if you ever wonder why, take down the picture? No, okay, no, not doing that. I love this podcast. Somebody was asking me, like, don't you get bored? I'm like, no.
No, you do this every day. Like even before this podcast started, you would listen to Joe Rogan every day.
Every single day, multiple times a day.
Yeah. So. I'd never heard of this podcast before I met you.
That's amazing.
And now I'm like, you remember that time when Joe?
Yeah. That's so, yeah. You need to find something to get you through, and make sure it's not a drug that you're abusing.
Yeah.
So I was very thankful I found this podcast. But yeah, struggling could be good, but too much struggle is just, I don't even know what to tell you about that. But I just know for me, just struggling as much as I did, it was just like, oh my God, I hated it.
For me, the thing that always got me through was literally just the feeling of doing a good job.
True.
Like that was enough.
Yeah. That's good. That's really good. Because that makes you exponentially not just better at your job, but just in terms of the skills that you're learning.
Yeah.
Because it gives you a better mindset, and it just makes it so you're learning things on a completely different level.
Yeah.
Because I could have learned a lot from the jobs I worked. I could have gone up really high in like jobs, but I was just like, I hate everything and everyone here. I hate it. I know I'm not supposed to be here.
Yeah, like I told you recently, this is the first time in like, I don't know how many years since I've not worked on the holidays.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
I know. So good.
We were thinking about that this morning. Like I didn't have to work on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. She always has
and
to
I always have to.
Always would
every
have
holiday.
To work and always have to come home at like 6 or 7 or something like
if
that.
I'm lucky.
Yeah.
There was one time I like made it back to you at like 11:15.
Yeah, that was like as you got more in control.
Yeah.
Like as you got into higher positions, then you could come back like a little earlier.
That's true.
Yeah, but at the beginning.
Yeah, every time I made a job move, it was just earlier and earlier. I was able to come home.
Yeah, exactly.
But still, every year worked on New Year's Eve.
Yeah. It's tough. And every year for me, I would do nothing on New Year's Eve. And now we're together.
And now we do nothing together.
Yeah. I would literally do nothing. I would just like wake up because I'd just be smoking all day, all night. And I would just wake up and it'd be like 2 a.m. I go, oh, okay. Get some New Year's messages. Oh, Happy New Year. Okay.
Yeah.
And then just stay up and think about the things I didn't do that I could have done throughout the year. It was rough. Really rough. So if you're going through that now, believe me, things can change. Things can very much change for you. You just got to believe it and you got to pursue it. Like you just got to figure out what you'd like to see your life be like and just start walking towards that.
Yeah, take a step.
Yeah, every single day. Just start moving towards it. Trust me. I talk about it all the time when I'm talking to my coaching clients, how I still have the piece of paper where it says I want my life I have a successful podcast. I have a successful clothing company. I'm the best podcast producer in the world, something like that. I'm a successful podcast producer. And my life is filled with podcasting, art, clothing, and stand-up comedy. And that's pretty much what my life is filled with now.
Yeah.
And I wrote that years ago, before I even had a podcast, I think. So you can change things, definitely. Something bigger than themselves. They brought that up. Working towards, like Joe said, if you think it's all about you, like you're wrong.
Yeah.
And that's so true. Like I never found myself, and I've said it to you, and it was sweet, but I meant it. Like I never found myself able to work harder than when I felt like I was working for us in our lives. Like it became very easy.
Yeah.
Like I did Uber Eats for so long, and it would always be terrible. And then when all of a sudden some purpose came in, some joy, we were married, you know, now it's like the prospect of being a good husband, the prospect of being a great father, all of a sudden it became easier. It became way easier.
Yeah.
Like just no problem. I can work through whatever. So it's so true. Like you got to find something that's bigger than yourself, more important than just your wants.
Yeah.
You know, it can really change things for you. For you, you got to do it. Got to do it. Even if you're 60, I'm telling you. And I know, I don't know the creaks and pains of being 60, even though I did hug my wife this morning and now my back hurts.
You make it sound like you hug me like once a year.
Oh my gosh. Well, I hug her every day. I don't know what happened. Like this is how it gets when you get older. Like you just get up and then all of a sudden it's like, oh,
something hurts.
That thing hurts now. I just hugged her. That's it. You just hugged for like 2 minutes. And I let go and it was like, and now when I go like this or I go, oh yeah, there. When I go like that, it hurts like, oh, I don't know what happened. No idea. Knees are cracking. Your 88-year-old grandmother even was like, is that you cracking?
Oh my gosh.
Creaking like that?
That's cracking and creaking.
I'm like, yeah, my knees are just, she's like, oh, okay. So funny. Yeah, what do you think of that? Something bigger than yourself.
Yeah, I think it's super important to be able to keep that in mind when you do anything in life.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there's no reason to do anything. Like I feel like people are inherently a little bit lazy.
Yes.
And if things only benefit themselves, then their mind can kind of work their way out of doing it.
Yes.
But if you're doing that thing and it's benefiting something other than just yourself,
yes,
then it's much easier to talk yourself into being committed to whatever that task is.
Yes, like wife, kids, husband, life, future, whatever it might be. You know? Like I was never able to save money until I had to save money for an engagement ring. Like never. I was never able to do it, and then all of a sudden I was like, I need this thing, and all of a sudden I was able to do it. And I was astonished. I was like, wow. I'm like, I really have this money saved. I'm like, this is so weird. It's nuts. And then I did it, right? And it's amazing.
It is amazing.
No?
Yeah, it's
You
great.
like it?
I love it.
Show them. No,
Can
don't
I?
show them. I don't want to blind anybody. But it's true. Something bigger than yourself. And now, you know, it's still you and children and life and houses and all that stuff. But then also now it's God as well. You know, like I asked for clarity. I asked for my path to be revealed to me. And every single day it started, you know, showing itself more and more and more as I created a relationship with God. You know, and now we pray every morning.
Yeah.
So it's just, yeah, you got to make something bigger than yourself. You know, like I talk about that rabbi all the time, that rabbi that was talking about.
I was thinking about him.
So many people want money. He was talking about Rabbi Friedman, I believe his name is. He was talking about so many people want money, and they want money, but they want it to the tune of like enough money for like 10 people. And the rabbi's like, well, God looks down and says, it's just you. He's like, I've given you enough money for you. Why would I give you money for 2 or 3 people? He's like, well, if you step into 2 or 3 people, like a wife and kids, he's like, I'll provide that. He's like, but you're not doing that. It's just you. Why would I give you money for 5? So many people are like, I will do X, Y, Z when I have this money.
Yeah. But that's the opposite.
Yeah. But then like when it comes to faith is like, you have to be like, I'm going to do these things. I'm going to have this wife. I'm going to have these kids. I'm going to work as hard as I can. And I have faith that things will be brought to me.
Yeah.
Not just magically, but through your work and through what you do. And they really are.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. Like I'm seeing it happen right now in our lives.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's peaks and valleys to everything, but like, yeah, seeing it happen.
Mm-hmm.
It's wild. It's amazing. Amazing feeling. So you got to have faith. Figuring out what brings you joy. How did you do that?
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
That's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I have a list in my head of things that bring me joy. Obviously, like, you're one of them, spending time with you.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, like, I don't know.
I know you like to be needed.
Yeah.
I know you like doing a good job at things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think that's why I think that there's a thing that you're going to do. And it's going to be the podcast, and we're going to do that. But I think you're going to have some kind of business. Mainly because I want to be a stay-at-home dad. And you're gonna have some kind of business. Get out there and do something. No, yeah, I think it's gonna lead to something. I always said you could do the restaurant consulting thing.
Yeah.
And you already know how to build a website. See how things never make sense? Like, you think about a website and like you're like, when I told you about that consulting thing, this is how things work. I told you about that consulting thing and you're like, I don't know about that. And you'd need a website to do it. But you didn't do that, right? Because you were like, I don't want to do that. But then all of a sudden, when it came to my clothing company, you made the website. So now you know how to make a website.
Mm-hmm.
And if you ever do want to do it, you know exactly what to do.
Yeah.
And you can just go like that.
Yeah.
It's very
I still don't
interesting.
know if I'd want to have a job outside of what we do.
Well, yeah. I mean, we're going to hit 100K.
As much as possible. Yeah.
We're going to hit 100K by the end of January. That's my projection as an expert in this field of my own YouTube channel. So, yeah, it's going to grow. And I do have a vision for us in this whole thing that gets more intricate, I can say, more in depth. I can say, in terms of the research and the stuff that we cover.
Yeah, but if I start my own business doing something completely different, then it would take time away.
It wouldn't take that much time away. Wouldn't take that much time away. Not that much. I know you think it's a lot, but it wouldn't be. You'd be able to do it.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be able to do it. We have kids. I would take care of the kids. We would be able to make it work. Trust me. We're powerful people.
I trust you. I just don't know if it's something I want to do.
Well, yeah, that's also the other aspect. But we'll see. We'll see as it goes, right?
Yeah, of course.
I don't know, because that is something that you have, or all that knowledge that you have in hospitality will serve when I buy a hotel.
There you go.
Because that is something that I'm going to do one day.
Buy a hotel?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Got to leave kids something. Got to be able to leave them something.
A hotel, though?
Yeah. Property. Property that's a business that functions, that has revenue. So many of our parents just want to leave property for the property's sake, but property that's a business is like, that's the thing. And they can choose what they want to do with it. They can run it, they can sell it, but they'll sell it for more because it's a business.
Yeah.
Who knows? We'll see. That's if we rear our kids properly. We gotta rear them properly. Gotta make them be able to run a business first. We'll see. At least one of them. I think the girls. If the girls take after her, we're good. If it's a bunch of boys, then it'll be tough. Because then they're gonna be like me. I'm a little unorganized.
What if the boys are like me?
Ooh, the boy
and
like
the
a
girls
boy
are
like
like you.
Ooh, he looks like me, but he functions like you. That could be. But he's like creative a little bit. Oh, that'd be really good. I'd be happy with that. I'd be happy with.
I was gonna say you'll be happy with all our kids.
Some people have no idea. Some people have no idea that they can, like the Jason was saying, some people don't even want to bother. I don't think it's that they don't want to bother. I think they just can't. They can't think of a different reality.
Yeah. Or also people don't spend a lot of time thinking about a different situation when they're in one that's so hard.
Yeah.
They spend all of their thought time on their current situation.
Yeah.
And don't think outside the box.
Yeah, when you're in a hard situation, you might think of wanting more money and what you do with that, but you don't think of how to get there, really. it just seems so far off. Like if you said to me years ago, hey, you're going to work in front of a camera and a computer, I'd be like, I don't know how to make my own resume. Thanks. I'd walk away. I wouldn't believe you. You know, it's hard to imagine things.
It's true. And
a lot of people don't expose themselves. Like I was so lucky to expose myself to so much personal development when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
I mention these people all the time: Zig Ziglar and Jim Rohn, Tony Robbins, and Eric Thomas, and Brian Tracy. People don't even know who these people are. So many people. There's so few people that I meet who know who those people are.
Yeah.
You know, and then listen to them all the time.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I took years where I would walk around with headphones like a weirdo, and I would only listen to that.
Yeah, that was your pre-Joe Rogan.
And if somebody was talking to me, I wouldn't take them out. They'd be like, can you take out your headphones? I'd be like, no.
No.
It didn't matter if I was at dinner or like, it didn't matter what I was doing. I'd be like, I'm not taking them. I'm trying to build my life. I'm very depressed. Okay. I'm not taking them out. I'm very depressed right now. But yeah, that was me. I don't know. Some people don't have that at all. So they don't know that there's ways to improve.
Mm-hmm.
They have no idea. So I hope you just heard that list of names. Go look them up. If you've never heard of Eric Thomas, go look up Eric Thomas. Go look up Jim Rohn. You'll have a great time. Jim Rohn, for anybody still watching, Jim Rohn is like a sober Terrence McKenna. You will trip out listening to him the same way you would Terrence McKenna. It is wild listening to that guy. Type in Jim Rohn talking about the seasons, and you'll see. There's this weird video. It's like 2.5 hours long, and he's just talking about the seasons, and he's likening them all to life. But he's not saying that. He's just talking about winter, but he's like making it seem like life. It's the weirdest thing. And then he talks about spring and summer. It's so weird as you listen to him do it. And then a series of small summits, false summits. That's what he said at the end. Life is like a series of false summits. And I think that's very true.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because every time you feel like you achieve something, invariably, you'll have some kind of downfall after too.
Well, there's that, but it's not. I don't think he's not saying like a false summit is like when we're watching The Simpsons, and he got to the top of the mountain, and then he looked up, top? And there was like all this other mountain.
Oh, okay.
So he felt.
I was picturing like up, down, up, down, up, down. Well,
yeah, that would be like peaks and valleys.
Yeah.
But the false summit is you think you get to the top, and then all of a sudden there's more.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of what life is. A lot of it. And I've experienced that. My coach actually said that to me. I was like talking about working all these jobs and everything. And he's like, oh yeah, so this coaching. He's like, this is not even the thing. He's like, you're not even going to do this. And I'm like, I'm going to do it. He's like, yeah. He's like, but you're going to do another thing. He's like, you're going to do other things. I'm like, I don't know. He's like, yeah, you're going to do other things for sure. He's like, you said you worked 40 jobs. He's like, you're going to do other things. He's like, trust me. I'm like, okay. And then, yeah, all of a sudden, you know, this happens.
Yep, smart guy.
And that's why I think that about you, because you have so much potential. And I think, you know, you're doing the wife thing. You're going to do motherhood. And I think there's going to be another thing. And who knows? Who knows? You might be like Whitney Webb, which you asked me who she was. She's basically like you, but she's like a deep researcher. She's like always researching, exposing things. You might go that route. I don't know. But I do think that there's another thing more that you'll do. Like it'll go from you being the person who is, you know, bouncing thoughts off with me to like maybe just more of this, maybe more in depth, maybe own reports, maybe, you know, who knows? Who knows? Because it's all there. It's all options.
Yep.
You know? So I think, life is a bunch of false summits. So don't feel like you're at the top of things, even if that top is like, you know, low and you feel like that's shitty. There's probably another level that you can go to, you know, if you're just willing to try and climb it. And that's where that whole, like from the beginning of what I was talking about, struggling, because as soon as you start that next summit, it's hard again.
Yeah.
Because now it's like you're starting again, but you're not. You're actually much higher than you ever were. So I don't know. What do you think, honey?
I think I keep thinking about the things that you want to do in 2024.
Oh.
All the mysterious things.
Oh, they're not that mysterious. Our list of 2024. So one thing I definitely want to do, I mentioned it, I want to learn how to change a tire because I don't know how to change a tire. I want to learn how to change my own oil because I don't know how to do that. I definitely want to start writing and either put that in the Substack or, like we said, put it in a blog on the website. I definitely want to start writing a lot more. I think that's a medium that I can do things in, and I think it's something I'm supposed to do. Another thing would be losing weight. Losing weight, definitely. I definitely want to do that. I want to, the same way I decided that I'm going to post every day here, I want to dedicate to just working out every day. You know, like there's a whole thing of anything you want to do. Like, what if I do this every day for a year? Like, what does that look like? Yeah. And most things that are positive that you want to do, that you decide to do that with, it'll be massively beneficial to your life. So I think that's definitely one of them that I want to get going. So working out, change a tire, change oil. I want to hunt, or at least get to that point where I am all equipped of understanding how to hunt. Like I want to hunt. Like I want to go on a hunt.
This year?
Yeah, I would love it for it to be this year. Whether it's in Texas or my buddy's in Idaho and he's doing that a whole bunch. My buddy Mike Mussini. He's definitely someone I can trust. I actually got an offer from somebody who sent us an email. They're like,
that's nice.
Yeah, they said they would take me out hunting. So I definitely want to get out there. And it's like, yeah, you probably may not hit anything because it's your first time.
Yeah, who cares?
But I want to get out there and start doing that. All the things that are going to... And that's probably like 6 things. But I want to get our first legit property that like makes money. Yeah. Like I want to get our first investment property that makes money. Those are some of the things. There's other things. Definitely want to hit I want to hit 250,000 subscribers. Yeah, for definitely. Sure. I want to interview people. I want to hit some big names interviewing. You know, we have one lined up. The Joe Rogan, I don't know who this is. This verified Joe Rogan account followed us. If that's you, Joe, yeah, I'd love to interview Joe Rogan. That would be insane.
I feel like Joe Rogan does not get interviewed. He interviews you.
Yeah, it's hard. He's been on other people's podcasts. He knows how to like reel it in. He'll be like nice and polite and quiet and just let you kind of ask questions.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's nice.
I've seen him do it a few times. Yeah, that's basically it.
That's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's a lot. I don't even think I hit 10. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to do this year. Oh, and stereotypically, I have to learn how to swim. Because I have to teach our kids how to swim. That's a big thing. Like, yeah, they could take lessons. That's true, but it should come from their father. Their father should teach them that skill. There's certain skills that your father should teach you. I think changing a tire is one of them. I think swimming is one of them. Things like riding a bike is one of them. Changing your oil, like the things, you know, there's certain things your father should be teaching you, not someone else.
Yeah, I don't know. My dad never taught me how to swim. I was always swimming lessons.
Yeah, too bad.
Yeah, I think maybe my mom taught me how to swim.
Really?
Like when I was like really little.
But you say your dad's not patient.
No, not at all.
I'll be patient.
No. He's not a good teacher.
I'll be very patient.
He's better now, but no, when we were growing up, no. Absolutely not.
Yeah. So there you go. That's what I want to do. What do you want to do?
Mine, I feel like mine are like very small.
Who cares?
I want to take more pictures.
That's
because
great.
I
should have said that.
We're not good at that. Yeah. Even now, even though we're trying.
Yeah. We're 100 times better. We've taken like 50 pictures.
Yeah.
So we're pretty good. We're getting there.
We're getting there.
Yeah. If we do that another, 10 days, we'll have 500 pictures. So that's not bad.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 50 a day. You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean. It'll just be better over time in general. I want to become a part of some kind of community group.
Okay. That's big. That's a big thing.
Yeah.
That's not small. What else?
I think that'd be nice. I want to go on a trip because we haven't gone on a vacation since like 2017, I think.
Yeah. Let's do that.
2017.
Done. That's on my list too. Okay.
Anywhere, it doesn't matter where.
Vacation.
Yeah. That'd be great.
Vacation.
And I want to declutter the house because I did a little bit and it feels really good and it puts me in a better mental state.
I wish I could turn the camera around for you guys so you can see this. It's just a wall of clothes. It's just 2 big dressers filled with nonsense.
I mean, I'm not going to touch your stuff.
Why not? This is a great opportunity for you.
Well, I would if you wanted me to, but you get so upset if I try and...
Well, no, you can't just throw things out. I mean,
That's what I mean. That's what decluttering is.
Okay, fine.
But I want to do that for the whole house because it just feels so much nicer.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw this post on Instagram and this lady was talking about energetically making space for things.
Yeah, sure.
And it made total sense to me. And I had just I cleared out like 8 bags from my closet. Yeah. And it feels so much better.
That's good. They're all in my car. So,
yeah. Yeah.
Feels a lot better. Feels a lot lighter.
Well, I didn't put them there.
But yeah, we'll give those over to a shelter for sure. But yeah.
And I also want to just get outside and go for a walk every day. Okay.
I'll hold you to that.
Yeah. That's obviously, there might be a couple weeks when I can't, but
that's true.
After that, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. What else? Anything?
That's it. Okay. That's my list.
You can do all those things. It's good to get, like, you already know my coaching program. When I coach people, I keep things so small for people, and they feel dramatic changes in their life. Yeah. From just small things. Always. You know that. Small things turn things around for you. Really small things, so don't feel bad about that. That's great. Okay, let's do it. We'll write them down on our whiteboards. Done. Anything else you want to talk about?
I don't think so.
Listen, I just wanted to do this. I know it's extra long. If you're still listening, I made this because some people don't have anything to do on New Year's. They don't have anybody to be with on New Year's, and they're just kind of at home. So I just wanted to give you guys something to watch and listen to, and there's 2 of these, so you have 2 hours of just stuff to listen to on New Year's. And like I said, I think it's in the last episode, hit up Kevin James and Joe Rogan, or no, Kevin Smith and Joe Rogan. That episode's classic. I would say if you want motivation on the new year, Joe Rogan and David Goggins. I would definitely say that. Joe Rogan and Cam Hanes, because that's a combination of motivation and funny. And yeah, I think that would be it. That would give you about 12 hours of things to listen to. So I think you'd be good through New Year's. You'd have to stay up till 3 a.m. to watch all that, actually. But yeah, that's it. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. And thank you so much. This time last year, I think I had 900 subscribers, and we're about to hit 89,000 subscribers. So thank you so much.
Thank you
to everyone who is subscribed. And other than that, we're out.
Bye.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. Woo!